reloading into the match between Adelbart and crowding.coder once more. And again, this is gonna be a long-ish loading screen, unfortunately, so you just have to get ready for this. So what do we make? Oh, it actually took way shorter. Now the stream quality is significantly lower, but I think this is for the best. Right now it should be way more smooth, and there should be no more complications coming into this game. So this is the darkest mark composition by Adelbart. This is the comp that I personally played for the first 2 months on the ladder almost. And then I kind of started to pivot a little bit, but this is a very, very powerful composition. It does extremely well against stress, unless there's like a lot of dodge on the opponent's team. There isn't that much dodge.
Let me interrupt you really quickly, Mike, just to say, look at that snuff on the Abomination. What do you make of that snuff? Really, really interesting decision.
Yeah,
when every single time you transform, you get a movement resist buffed.
That's true. And he honestly starts in row number 1, so perhaps not the optimal choice by Adelbart over there. I would have to say this is not the optimal choice at all.
Unable to transform, use his movement ability forward, and also Beast's Bile here. And he's not even going to transform, going for an early selling antiquarian there. Really interesting play.
I mean, there are basically 3 schools of thought as far as the Abomination placement goes. First of all, you go first, and only a leper can punish you for that. You go second, you can still get pushed by those characters such as Abram actually, or the BH. And then you go third, and then you're threatened by Occultists, Shield Breakers, and BHs as well, right? So there are 3 positions. I feel the first front one is the safest. Maybe he was just afraid of a leper.
You set up here on the Occultist, Mike, aren't we? Using the Occultist, obviously the squishiest character on the team, with that stunned antiquarian there. Whilst initially quite squishy, does have a lot of defensive abilities to keep her through that. This Occultist, unable to stealth anyone else here, will require a guard, and that guard can then just be broken by the Abomination.
That's true.
So I think here, crowding.coder is on the back foot. He needs to start thinking right now, is he going to push forward, play aggressively, or is he going to try and react? Also, another thing to mention, look at how much these guys are thinking through compared to last night's games.
Yes, indeed.
These guys are really taking it a little bit slower.
Yeah, they are taking their time. We have double stun coming through, potentially from Gravo, and this might be a stunned Occultist, which will indeed mean that there is not going to be an active healer available for the second turn.
Taking so much extra damage there from the Bounty Hunters finish him.
Indeed. Yeah, there's just going to be a bunch of damage right now. 16 to 28, there's a 0 HP Occultist, and there is no active healer available.
Straight down.
You have to remember that, however, MAA still does have the guard, so you can still guard this, but this is not really going to help crowding.coder at all, I feel. Because this guard will be easily broken by the A-bomb, and the follow-up will be an absolute smashing from Gravo, who does have the finisher on this BH, I believe, so this is going to be just a very large amount of damage coming through right now.
I mean, this is the explosive kind of potency here of Adelbart's team. This darkest mark comp, as you called it. We saw how powerful it was when you shot up to darkest one very early on, and now we are seeing its power again. Even though these bellows are starting to stack up and him trickle in, he can still use his Arbalest to clear it. He doesn't even need to though, does he? This is going to be a definite killing blow.
Yeah.
There we go. He's taken the win already, I say.
Well, I actually played a lot of Against Stress, and I had this very situation happen to me. This is still not over for crowding.coder. No, not by any means. You can still take over this, because what this comp does is it actually is quite slow. So we can see there is no mark available for Gravo for this turn. He'll have to mark the next turn, and he'll have to finish the following turn. If everything goes according to the plan, this means that
was a really interesting move from the Abomination there. We say he needs to play slow, but right now he's stunning. And instead of stunning there, what we would have wanted to see is him transforming, getting that stress out. And right now, it's just not quite managing.
He does resist at 25%, he does get that. It's very big. You're right, that was...
Kick that guy, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, who was that?
Eric.
Why?
Let's carry on. Seeing a sniper shot here come out on an unmarked target. Interesting to see here whether he'll go for the more beefy man-at-arms there who can stack up protection with his guard, or on the antiquarian who can force a guard and can use this, I think it's called back away or something, take cover ability. When only do you stealth yourself, you also increase your death blow resist.
Indeed. Right, I'm a bit thrown off by that. I was kind of baffled by what was happening.
Yeah,
But
let's
it was actually, yeah.
Let's just move on.
It's fine, yeah, indeed. So let's just have a look at this. So I feel like still crowding.coder does have an avenue to win this. So he has done a decent bit of stress as well. He does bellow right after this Arbalest uses her illuminating flare. And it's very decent timing for this, so he might still enjoy this minus 20% damage dealt by the Grao's composition. This Abomination obviously stands right now, so that won't actually be a transformation number 2 coming through. Just for now, however. And I feel like this A-bomb actually in row 1 is actually quite safe. You have to believe that there is very little that Adelbart can do to threaten this. Obviously DBH can finish him here, but this Arbalest is not going to be able to reach the Abomination of crowding.coder, so he is relatively safe, as we said, and he might just take his time.
Not even to attack the Abomination there, choosing to mark the Antiquarian and try and get a shot, we have to imagine, off that Arbalest instead.
Indeed, that's a strong pivot, because this Antiquarian has already played her turn. That's actually quite a big mistake by crowding.coder, I have to see. Because he could have waited and then potentially used the stealth. He doesn't do this. Instead, he just waits. Right now, he's stunned, I think, isn't he? And he's just probably going to lose this Antiquarian. And along with the Antiquarian, you have to believe this is going to be the game. So if you do indeed get the kill, and I feel like this is going to be almost a guaranteed kill right now, it is just looking super grim all of a sudden.
I think potentially we could see a guard play from the Man-at-Arms, but even then, it could be broken through with the Abomination. I believe Adelbart's Arbalest is running the Tiller as well, so can pay his guard. And this, we're going to see a pass here. He's abusive. We'll give him a chance, I believe.
Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate for crowding.coder though, because this BH 1 HP pretty safe. This game could have gone entirely differently. Grau would have been forced to heal this BH most likely if this one single digit of HP hadn't been there. Right now, however, we see this very solid lead for Grau coming into this game. He's pulling ahead slowly but steadily. He's taking those kills with this very, very dominant composition. However, still, this MAA in the back row, delivering a lot of stress. This Abomination perfectly healthy. Maybe, just maybe, can scrape by just because of those act outs by the characters of Grau. So crowding.coder in a very dire spot right now, but still perhaps has an avenue back into this game. What do you think?
I think perhaps he does have an avenue to come back in the game, but this really coming into it was not one of the matchups crowding.coder wanted to see. It's quite a squishy team put up against this Darkest Mark, one of the most potent and explosive comps you can have outside of a Jester team. We are seeing these afflictions stack up. I believe 3 of them have a high chance to pass, about 11%. So, if one of these goes through, maybe a couple goes through when he needed healing, he manages to land a heart attack, it could all change for crowding.coder. But you also need to look at that Arbalest and you need to understand that perhaps Bellow won't do it for you. It can be cleared, it might apply that stress, but he has so many healers that he can heal with the Arbalest, he can heal with the Crusader, and can himself heal on the Abomination.
Indeed, but the damage, okay, I was just about to say damage isn't that high, then he crits for 19. But this, you'll take a while to kill this MAA, with a lot of disruption coming through as well. Might be, there is very little access that Adelbart does have to the backline right now. So this might be enough time, potentially, for crowding.coder. We had some very, very big clutches from the MAAs in this tournament. Also, you did have I feel like you had a perfect clutch with the MAA in the finals against Halo, against a very similar composition as well. So if you do underestimate what a singular MAA can do, you may very easily lose a match. And you have to remember there's just not a singular MAA right now. This is also an Abomination in there who's absorbing some of the pressure, who's taking up some of the attention spam that Adelbart has, who's absorbing some of those turns. And
Abomination's done his job already, right? He's already got that horror out. The longer this game lasts, that gives that horror chance to stress down, turn itself into really, really heavy stress. Probably enough to kill the Bounty Hunter and the Arbalest, if nothing else. With a few bellows in there, could really mean all of Adelbart's team is blink on that death's door.
Indeed. We can see the conundrum this composition of Adelbart runs into, right? So it is very strong at first, but once it eliminates the first 2 targets, it really slows down. It runs out of steam, especially against stress. And this is what we see right now. This is a dead BH, by the way, because Adelbart decided not to heal that. And I feel like this is a mistake. This might be a mistake by crowding.coder. So he could have just eliminated this BH. He chooses to heal the Abomination instead.
Oh, why would
Because he
you
could have
do
just bellowed, right? He could have just bellowed it down, and still the Abom might live after that. And right now, this is... is this still a single-digit AP there? This might be. This might be 1 HP
even
still.
then, we could have seen a Manacles come out on him.
Oh yeah, that's
Put him
true.
down to death or stress him, and then that horror would have taken him out.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think that we do see kind of a cornucopia in this place going
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, that's true. So he did have a single... I'm not sure about the HP digits. Like, this is a 0 HP BH right now. So minus 60% damage, by the way, across the board. So looking quite grim in terms of the damage potential for those characters. You've already seen an act out, by the way, by this A-bomb, which was very unfortunate, and it is going quite bad for crowding.coder overall. So we have the healing coming through as well. So this BH very healthy right now, and this is just looking quite good.
Looking really, really good for both of them here, to be honest. It's almost, oh, what are we seeing there? No, none knocked out there, unfortunately. Gonna get a heavy hit off with
17,
that
yeah.
But, yeah.
Devs
I think
Devs
crowding.coder, he had that door, he had the opportunity to pass through and take a game. He didn't quite push it hard enough, did he, Mike? I'm not sure if this is a kind of gameplay that will even get him into the second set of matches today, let alone into the finals.
Yeah, we shall see about it though. Nothing is decided yet, obviously. And
Absolutely.
Adelbart, we have seen a lot of act outs already. This is 6 damage from this Obelisk. That's not enough. It's just not gonna cut it for him. Obviously, this Abomination might just die right now, simply because this MAA has, probably better things to do than guarding his allies, so this BH will probably get the execution, and this is where it comes to bite him on the ass, really. The fact that he decided not to eliminate the BH from the get-go is really going to be quite painful. You can see the cultures going through as well. There is no debuff on this, on this BH, and it is indeed a death blow. And this is the curtains. Crowding.coder, he could have actually tried to eliminate this BH 2 turns ago. He did not do this, and right now we are in a position where I feel like Adelbart is in a driver's seat very much, and there is very little that can be done by crowding.coder to alleviate the pressure and the damage coming from Adelbart's composition. Okay, we have an act out obviously here. This might be somewhat helpful, but still I just don't see a way for the singular MAA to take over. We have seen miracles though in this tournament, so nothing is decided
Well,
yet.
that is the first piece in the jigsaw puzzle of that miracle, Mike.
Indeed.
He's going to build himself a bridge, walk right over that into safety, perhaps into the next series of matches. But right now, again, we're seeing the heavy healing ability coming out from Adelbart, throwing down that cheeky double heal after Crusade onto the Arbalest, putting him off Death's Door, meaning he needs to sack up at least 2 bellows, maybe even more 3, just to get him back down to Death's Door.
Hey, damage crit though, jeez, this is so little, and there are no debuffs on this Arbalest. This is just because of the protection buff that the MA still has. Yeah, crazy amount here. I feel like, by the way, how about Adelbart making some adjustments here? I'm not sure about the snap on this Obelisk. Obviously there's an occultist somewhere there on the ranks of crowding.coder, but I feel like taking double offensive items, or maybe the breastplate on the Obelisk, is just going to pay dividends a lot. We actually do see like the beginning of the miracle for crowding.coder. This can still, I have been in this position a lot, where I felt I was gonna take the game for sure.
Oh, there we go, that's another piece in the jigsaw puzzle, Mike.
Indeed. Things
That
just went
part there
south.
is massive.
Things are going absolutely south for Gravo. He's super stressed. As I told you, this composition is very good to start the fight with, but it just doesn't close the games out that well. 3 characters at Dev's Door right now, and this is looking super grim all of a sudden. We might see the Holy Lance here, 3 to 5
Choosing not to
damage.
deal anymore, is he? Adelbart right now is a little bit scared. He thought he had this in the bag, trying to whittle him down with those tiny little needle pricks. And now that Holy Lance really is looking more like a toothpick coming at him.
Indeed.
Choosing instead to heal. Not really getting effective use out of the double heal there. Only
It is
getting
super
one character
scared.
out of this door.
Yeah, it is super scary. You have to just trust in the RNG gods, I feel, right now, if you are Adelbart, because you can see another heal refused, and this might just be
Exactly, I
shot
think that
1
would still
to
be
2
refused.
damage.
That though. 1 to 2 damage.
It is not decided by enemies. This shouting old man that everybody on the chat just hates. I feel like he might
Do
just
you
be able
even
to pull it
clear
off.
this? Do you even use the clear there, Mike?
Yeah. Oh no! Oh, that's brutal. This is absolutely brutal for Adelbart. He's getting shafted by his own characters there. Obviously, this is not decided by any means, but holy shit, isn't this close? It's getting dangerously close right now.
This is truly remarkable, Mike. We are seeing maybe a little bit of a late start to it, but look at this. Come on. Turn 9. I thought it was all already over because that abomination stress has stopped. But look at him here. Still, really, he's got a good chance of winning it.
Yeah,
if he gets some lucky death door assist, he might have it.
Yeah, but this is so unfortunate, by the way. Can you imagine this game without the bounty hunter for Adelbart? If crowding.coder had actually eliminated this BH before this, he would have an absolutely wonderful situation in this game. And right now, I think he might just lose. Scalzi by the skin on his team, but he might just lose this game right now. And Adelbart will probably take it, like, unless something absolutely crazy, insane happens on this particular turn right now. Which I don't really see happening, man.
Seen it before. All he needs to do is hit himself or pass, maybe. We need one pass.
Please don't pass. Like, he's just playing. Let's say hard time, but he's gonna get this right now. This is gonna be a kill probably for the BH. Can he do it? Can he clutch this one right now? And it, no! He has the death blow resistance. He has the death blow resistance coming through.
Here?
Oh,
these are going to be these kind of games again all day, Mike. These are you've got to go for it. You need to play aggressive now. Go for it. He's got
He heals this. I think this is reasonable because he can always finish it off right now with the BH. So unfortunate, this 15% more that you get for the last character standing, guys, is what we have just seen here. Obviously, guys, so unlikely to happen. I feel like Adelbart is literally on the edge of his seat, as we all are. Those games are delivering once again. We have a Belu come through.
All bought and paid for by the RNG gods. Red Hook right now is smiling at us, but this right here, a definite unless. Oh, no, it's a definite kill here.
105% deadlock, he confirms this one. Very close game number 1, felt like one mistake decided this one. Honestly, not killing this BH was the definition of defeat for crowding.coder. I feel like he could have definitely taken this match.
Truly, truly remarkable there. I mean, that one initial death blow resist from the Man at Arms could have even swung it for him regardless, but really, we do see the amount of healing in the Darkest Mark team there. That is a truly remarkable amount of sustain, especially when you only need these small incidental heals to get you off death's door.
Yes, indeed. I'm just informing the players, guys. If you win a match in this setting, you can no longer use the same composition again, right? This is a very important rule, so I'm just going to remind the players. And this means that we'll have to kind of get a little bit of a mind game here from Adelbart. He has two choices, very similar ones at that, so it might be quite an easy thing for crowding.coder to counter those compositions. Because those two combos by Adelbart, remarkably similar, A-bomb and the Grave Robber being the difference here. And I feel that crowding.coder will be able to at least scrap by in a single win. He has two highwayman compositions coming into this, so heavy repose teams available. Also, the Abomination on the Horror team, also a very decent reposed characters. So you might just see those very heavy reposed teams dealing very nicely with the DOT AoEs that Adelbart brings to the table in those follow-up games we'll have on our hands right now. So how do you feel about the chances of Adelbart in those follow-up games, Sis?
Well, I think Adelbart has really taken the heavy advantage here. But both of these guys, I think Adelbart will be a little bit more tilted about that one. And I think with that in mind, he might get perhaps read easier by Coder. Coder here has so many different opportunities where he can change his trinkets and skills, maybe go from stress to DOT, or maybe even to a really heavy single target stress build to try and counter the Man at Arms.
Yeah, indeed. I also feel like crowding.coder, or Seba Morgo as we know him from the stream chats, has been making somewhat more mistakes in those games. Like, he made some unacceptable ones that basically brought him to the death's door a lot. He killed his Abomination while taking down the BH alongside, and I feel like those mistakes might indeed be the final nail in the coffin for him. So he is a single loss away from being eliminated from the tournament, and I feel like he was indeed the person who was making a bit more of those mistakes.
Such a daunting prospect to be 1-0 in a tournament like this. I remember I went 1-0 in the beginning of a few of my games in Musikun's tournament, and really it does put fear into you. It makes you think more about everything you do. For some people, that'll make you play badly or make you be a little bit too kind of under the pressure. And even though this isn't, a massive giant thing for thousands and thousands of pounds, people still have been affected by this kind of pressure. We've seen Dino Boy in Musikun's tournament say, "I'm sorry I played wrong. I couldn't really think. I was too under the pressure,
Indeed.
So it'll be really interesting to see if either of these crack up here. We did see Coder's play got a lot quicker, so maybe we are seeing these kind of cracks start to appear in him.
Yeah, I mean, I did play in a fair bit of tournaments in games and also in fencing, and the pressure is the big thing that really hurts you sometimes. I did buckle up in my match against Mangle as well, I feel, so this is something you have to consider, right? Those guys are not playing the normal ladder setting where you just kind of can sit there with a beer and just, take a loss with a shrug. This is gonna hurt you if you lose every single match, because especially that they do know there is a wonderful audience sitting behind the computers here watching this stream and observing every single move and mistake they make, and probably remarking on that as well.
Mike. They really, really want the prize, more so than anything. These ridiculous physical rewards, exclusive things that no one has ever won in a prize before. I mean, really. That's why I think I really want to take it home. But coming into game 2 now, we're seeing that delicious shield breaker come out here from Coder. We're really going to puncture through the guard that's coming out of 2 or even 3 of these characters on Adelbart's side here, with the Antiquarian able to force guard.
Yeah, that's a very fast reaction. I feel like he knows what he's doing. He doesn't want this Antiquarian to get stun-locked and killed off, so he just retreats to the back row. We do see the repose coming down from the Highwayman, however, and this is very unfortunate. Crowding.coder has very smart setup, by the way. You can see the shield breaker and Highwayman being able to move forward interchangeably. This means that this Highwayman will always be able to riposte and use this duelist advance. There's a very, very decent setup here, and this Highwayman also is going to block all 3 characters trying to land DOTs on the side of Grau, so he's not going to be able to use the Antiquarian, the Abomination, and the Houndmaster without getting punished quite heavily for doing so. And by the way, actually crowding.coder got a lot of momentum into this game just by pulling this Antiquarian and blocking that regen, the rejuvenating vapors, from being used on turn number 1.
I think interestingly here, we've seen Coder thankfully start off with a riposte, especially against this Houndmaster Antiquarian team. You often see people go for the Vendetta first, and that really is not what you want to be doing. You should be taking 2 turns of extra damage, but right now, he's already stifled Adelbart's ability to do so many things, really. He can't rake, he can't beast spile, and he can't use either of these 2 really heavy DOT stress abilities coming out from the Antiquarian and the Houndmaster.
And there is also so much control, right? The Vestal, the Crusader, there is no Arbalest for Adelbart, so he cannot deal with those stuns in an effective manner. And this means, obviously, those 2 stunning characters are not doing damage, so this is going to be quite a long game, I believe quite a slow one at that. Yeah. However, you have to consider the fact that there is a lot of control coming with that. And across all those riposts, across all those stuns, all those pools, right? You really have to struggle to get some control, to get some footing into this game if you are Adelbart. Because those double stuns coming through, if they do manage to get a triple stun across the board, which might just happen if you do a singular small mistake in the turn order, will really hurt you. You might, usually when you get a triple stun, it is a GG most of the time, right? So it might just be that. We can see crowding.coder, he's setting up the second stun right now, possibly on the MAA. Or on the Houndmaster actually, and the first one might come down on this Houndmaster over there. No, actually he decides for the stun on the MAA, so I believe he'll just try to restun the Abomination of the Crusader, and there's just so much pressure really. There is so little wiggle room right now for Grau, because he can no longer deal with those stuns until he starts pressuring this Vestal or this Crusader to start healing, which I do not feel is going to happen anytime soon.
It's just so punishing to see this ridiculous amount of control from Coder here. Usually, we wouldn't want to see heavy stunning if you don't have some kind of DOTs to back it up, to try and leverage that stun out of something more than simply a turn-for-turn trade. But here, It's almost like he doesn't need it. Just choosing the right time to pinpoint focus down this abomination. He's stunned, he can't heal himself. He's not even been able to get both transforms off, and it looks like he won't be able to get them off in this game without dying.
Yeah, indeed. And those guards not really effective against high stun characters such as the Vestal and the Crusader, right? So that's another big deal right now for us. So the stream froze, I have no idea what's happening right now. Okay, we did kind of get it back. We see a guard after all, so it comes down on the A-bomb. So I feel like this is just the last resort from Adelbart. He decides against using the heavy stress that MAA usually brings to the table. However, you just have to consider the shield breaker can just destroy the stun in a single turn. So it is effectively a wasted turn. You could have just used the Hound's Rush over there with the with this Houndmaster. I just don't understand why he did that. Playing against shield breaker, you just consider guard to be just non-existent. And especially against this many stuns.
Breaker, against these stuns as well.
Yeah.
Like, guard is a very, very underpowered ability in quite a few matchups, and Adelbart has pushed himself into this match where he almost has not a reliance on guard, but he has so much guard there that if you don't use it in an entire game, it's a completely wasted skill slot, and that's so punishing, especially on characters like Houndmaster where you can take the stun.
Indeed. And yeah, that's just not looking too good right now. He hasn't been able to deliver that much stress, but in his defense, however, crowding.coder hasn't done that much damage either. Adelbart resisted a single death blow, and this is all you really have to do. So you might just see some more offense right now coming into play. Right, obviously this...
Adelbart here, though, he's fully stunned, but there are no DOTs that do anything. He's being healed every single time he takes that stunned turn and passes. This is really not what you want to be happening if you are this kind of control-y build, especially with a shield breaker. You want to get that shield breaker into first, you want to move him back and forth with the Highwayman's point-blank shot. That's not happening so far. That also means he can't use the Holy Lines for more damage. All he's doing is controlling and not doing any damage here. All of his efforts have been thwarted by one absolution and the incidental healing from these rejuvenating vapors.
Yes, indeed. But, you know, like, if you're Adelbart here, are you happy about how things are going? That's a real question. Because this is going very slowly. I feel like crowding.coder needs a single crit right now, or one more 10 of those very accumulated stuns, and this might just be it, right? You have to consider the fact there is no way to defend this A-bomb outside of activating him right now and getting that heal, and from there it is up to crowding.coder to basically execute this character. So this might just be it. You have to also note, crowding.coder's Highwayman, however, is heavily debuffed, right? He has minus 40 damage and minus 15 accuracy that the Antiquarian has been able to stack on him. So this is quite a lot of pressure on this character. He might be somewhat useless at this point, honestly. However, you have to consider the fact also that this Abomination is on death's door right now. You know, Adelbart does have to activate the character.
Start biting the bullet here and walking into these ripostes with his doggy, and I want to see him start doing it with his Antiquarian as well, especially because your Abomination is on death's door and he's gone.
Why does he not heal this though? He would have just bought a single 10 of damage more by just picking the A-bomb, getting the regen down. That's
maybe again, he's playing really fast here. You know, he's not really thinking. These are more reflexive actions. We might be seeing the tournament jitters get to him.
Yeah.
He, I think strategically wise, he's just being off the ball really. He kind of tentatively dipped his foot into the waters of playing aggressively with the Houndmaster there, but didn't really follow through that, and he did do it quite late. While he does have a lot of stress piling across the board, you want to be doing more than that when you are, and one character down here with the Dead Abomination as well.
Yes, indeed.
This means that if you do take it longer, if you aren't doing any damage, if you're stunned the whole time, the enemy here isn't taking stress, horror ticking down, so he won't actually be having any stress in him, especially because Coda can keep the entire enemy team locked down basically every turn apart from this Man-at-Arms.
Okay, we have a dodge though. Actually, what the chat is saying that the A-bomb was dazed on top of the stun, so he was not able to pick the A-bomb at all. So that's why this happened. So that's why he was not able to heal that at all. So he's just gonna play forward right now. I actually feel, however, that having the Houndmaster in 4 is way better than having the Antiquarian at 4, because I feel like at this point for Grau, having this Houndmaster deliver those Hound Harries consistently is the key to victory. And having this Houndmaster stand, on the other hand, is going to be quite detrimental.
Absolutely, but I do think what we are seeing here is Adelbart start to really take this game back. While the Abomination is dead, the amount of pressure on the rest of his team is very, very low. And this is a team that does have quite good sustain. We have the Rejuvenation from the Antiquarian, we have her Guard, and we have her Take Cover Stealth. Not only that, her Rejuvenating Heal really, really synergizes well with that Lick Wounds. Able to get up enough healing that even if you're stunned, you click it, maybe you will survive another hit before you're put down onto Death's Door.
Indeed. So, actually, Adelbart did a fairly decent job at slowing down the game pace, right? He has been able to take some control back, and he's now inching forward. I feel like crowding.coder really slowed down too much here. Like, he may have been playing this too passively, as we've been saying throughout the game. And honestly, Adelbart has shown a lot of control, a lot of restraint in this game, and this is all for the best, I feel. Because he has been actually able to protect his characters, to basically get some wiggle room into the game. And right now, Coder is facing almost quadruple affliction. Like, once he activates the shield breaker, I believe it is going to be the fourth one who is afflicted indeed by this Abomination's Hara. Oh yes, it is indeed. And this means that we have quadruple affliction on the one side, and on the other hand, by the way, those characters have very heavy debuffs, right? Those bellows came through, and this Antiquarian also dropping some accuracy debuffs on those characters of crowding.coder. This means that he's in quite a dire spot on this. He has no way to remove those debuffs other than using
Yes, he
the
does.
Crusader.
He's got exactly the Crusader, and this is the thing a lot of people don't realize. When they look at a team without an Arbalest, they think you can't clear these debuffs, rather. The Crusader can clear 2 targets of the debuff himself and the person he chooses. Whilst that does mean if you are chain clearing people, you'll only be really being able to clear 1 debuff at a time after the initial one. We wanted to see Crowder here play a little bit earlier with the debuffs. I believe we've got some here going up to 60, which is just far, far, far too much. With these abilities, maybe like the AoE Blight from the Shield Breaker, that won't even proc Death's Door. That'll be hitting 0 with that level of debuff on you. And this really is why Manatimes is such a powerful character. Not only does he do that heavy AoE stress, he's got this remarkable debuff that shuts everything down.
Mizuka has just raided us with 7 people. Thank you, Mizuka, for the raid.
Hello,
man.
Mizuka.
Hello, guys. Mizuka, defeated but still remains with us here, in our hearts, in our souls. Perfect. Thank you so much, Mizuka. Thanks for the follows, guys, as well. I'm not going to be reacting to the follows that much because we are casting the tournament, but let's just get back into the cast doses. So, you have to notice, however, this Crusader, like, if he uses his turn to remove the debuffs, he at the same time loses the turn, basically, because there is no real damage coming down from Adelbart. It's just pure stress. So, honestly, this healing not as effective. This is just the debuff removal, which basically crowding.coder doesn't make that much use of either. This is just a question of how steady his hand is right now. If he can just steer through those dangerous waters that crowding.coder's composition still is nonetheless.
I'm glad they're slowing it down a little bit here. Really not taking full use of the time here, but not playing quite so reflexively. Code here instantly picks that Shield Breaker though. Maybe he's got a plan and he's not deviating from it, but maybe Adelbart here is just being more calm, more collected, and he's going to take it home because of that, even when he's been a man down for, I'd say, the majority of the game. Not even entirely sure if he got both transforms out.
Yeah, but that's how stress operates, really, right? You play into your opponent, you bite the bullet on the potential losses, you try to run damage control as long as humanly possible, and you eventually take over if you're allowed to do so.
Very early on.
Yeah, those afflictions really beginning to head crowding.coder right there. And that's so big right now for Adelbart. I feel like he might have just done this, right? Those debuffs are way too huge. At the same time, the Stunned Crusader can no longer remove them. And this Highwayman is not really gonna do that much with such a high
This is why you're scared
debuff.
of pulling the Houndmaster into the front 2 ranks when he has the stun, right?
Yes, indeed.
And he's only hitting 6 there. 6 there with a point-blank shot. It is enough to put him down to death. Still see him blinking right there, begging for mercy. But Coder here, Stunned Crusader, doesn't have the Holy Lance or anything else really to take it back.
Yeah, and he does heal with the regen as well, so it's very decent for Adelbart, honestly, coming into this one. He gets another stun most likely, and this is just control composition getting controlled right now by a stress comp. You also never want to see that, so unfortunately for crowding.coder, it looks like the walls are closing in, and right now it might just be the end of it. probably within the next 2-3 turns, if he doesn't make some miraculous change of pace within the game, he'll just drop this one, he'll drop out of the tournament along with that.
It's far, far from over here, Mike, though we have to say that. Whilst this Crusader in third can't stun, he has that Vestal there to act as a stun, but as she's been doing the entirety of the game so far. The Crusader in third here, able to leverage his Holy Lance and do some much needed damage. Maybe he'll even just take the little rest there and clear the debuffs with him. Maybe that way, even if you just clear the Highwayman, you've got a heavy lunge point blank shot into Holy Lance off both of them there. I think that would really be effective here.
Yes, right.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Yeah. Again, those afflictions are really coming into play right now in this game, and you have to actually note one thing. I feel like Grauk has a very decent advantage in this game. He has been able to take two sides of the matchup. So first of all, he took a game off the hands of a stress comp using a damage comp, and right now he's kind of on the way to doing the opposite thing against crowding.coder, so taking over with stress against this controlled damage composition. So I have to really admire that he's been able to pull off both sides of the matchup here, and he's doing this quite gracefully so at that as well.
Yes, absolutely. He's playing with a maestro-like professionality here. He's playing reflexively when he needs to, and he's taking time to think when he needs to. Coder here taking some time, but I think maybe more out of frustration than out of really thinking, what do I do here? He's going obviously to go have this reflexively stun that he's used more often than not on the Vestal. Big stun there, not pushing him down to death's door though. He's at 1 health. Very lucky there for Adelbart.
Yeah, so it's kind of a shame I've never met Adelbart on the ladder, because this is a player you really have to watch out for, you have to feel, right? He has been doing a lot of those very calculated decisions, he has been making those accurate calls as well. He has been controlling the pace of those games. Maybe on the knife's edge in the previous one, obviously, but right now he is very consistent, he's taking his time, he's slow and calculated, and you just really have to commend him for doing all those things in such a decisive fashion.
Coming into this tournament, right? None of us really know who he is, but boy oh boy, he's I think we know who he is now, Mike, right? He's put his foot down and said, listen boys, Adelbart's the name, and I guess winning is the game.
Yes, you have to really watch out for the guy. When you look at his compositions, they're all very strongly entrenched within the current meta. He knows what he's doing, obviously seeing how he's playing this game. He also has some tricks up his sleeve, I believe, so he's been doing a lot of this unorthodox move, like using the flash powder of this anti-Korean consistently to just deal with what crowding.coder has been able to bring to the table here in this game. And you just have to feel that this game might slowly be going towards the closure here. He is going to be able to take down the Highwayman right away on this particular turn, and it's just going to be this, I feel, going to just be a snowball effect from here. A heart attack number 2 is going from bad to worse for crowding.coder. Heavy debuffs across the board as well. This Crusader not really doing anything. The Shield Breaker not able to apply any sort of pressure other than just pulls and pushes. So perhaps not, I'm not sure if it took the Impale or not, by the way. Maybe that's the detrimental thing here. Maybe he just did not take the Impale. And this is just something that is setting him very, very far back right now.
It's weird to not take the Impale when you have the Highwayman there. When you see the Shield Breaker Highwayman duo, what you really want to be seeing out of them is a point blank shot Impale combo, right? Especially because that could have done it against Adelbart's team here.
Absolutely, just exposed though, kind of out of place. We get a death blow, however, on the Houndmaster of Adelbart. So
that might do it. That might do it.
Indeed.
Coder does have a lot of healing here. It is unfortunate his Vestal is so low health, and also these Affliction Act-outs can make it so he just denies a heal. But regardless, I think this is a much more even game now. Adelbart here perhaps needs to start thinking, have I actually lost this? Maybe this isn't an easy win. Maybe I need to pivot a little bit.
Absolutely, so it's kind of a scary situation overall. You can see also the fact that crowding.coder gets this stand for free. So you might just be able to stun the anti-Korean, get some control back, heal this Shield Breaker perhaps to allow him to do some damage. You have to, however, remember that this is a heavy protection MAA you're fighting against. This is Pit Fighter's handed 30% base protection, and taking this guy down will take multiple turns. not only are you facing that threat, this is also an anti-Quarian who is going to deliver substantial amounts of stress and damage across the board.
I think it's so interesting to note that trinket choice specifically, because what it also says is that he did not take the Crimson Hook here. Such a powerful trinket when you have the Houndmaster. A lot of people take Houndmaster just because he's the perfect person to really allow your team to use Crimson Hook and apply so much more stress than any other trinket will apply to you. But this heavy protection here, we say paying off, it wasn't really targeted. He's taking this game home, we think, in quite a dominant fashion, hopefully.
That doesn't look like it anymore, though. Does it?
Really.
That lance combo, this is a pass from the Vestal, though. This kind of shifts the momentum a lot, right? We have a Dev Star on the anti-Quarian. She has to move back in order to remain safe and start healing. Triple heart attack, though.
Dominoes fall here for Coda. The back and forth of this game is unbelievable.
Indeed. Like, every single game has kept us on the edge of our seat, and we are not even in the group phase. We are not even in the top 8 of the tournament. We're in top 16 right now, basically. And those games are just absolutely delivering. Once again, look at this game. It's absolutely crazy. Have a look at this Pierce coming through. It is 0 damage.
Zero.
Those
debuffs. What we said about earlier because of the bellow from the man-at-arms there. Not even proccing that. Oh dear.
Oh no, you hate to see it.
Man.
The crit heal doesn't matter that much. It's a bit of stress healing though. Maybe a sigh of relief for crowding.coder, but nothing else.
We're gonna see, I hope, a dead shield breaker here.
Possibly. He might just play the save or just go back, take his time, start stacking the regions again. He has all the time in the world right now, I feel. If he wants to play the save.
You have to be scared that Coda, he doesn't have all the time in the world here. Coda has done, and Coda can heal more than Adelbart can. I think if you're Adelbart, you have to be playing a little bit more aggressively here, while you have the opportunity to kill someone. See, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, that's true.
And now the momentum is shifting back in Coda's favour. He can heal up that shield breaker, hopefully not proc an affliction this time again.
Yeah, he gets it, he gets it. So,
there we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a very slow game from him. This might kind of take about 6, 7 turns now to resolve, really. With those characters quite slow at doing damage. By the way, Expose can indeed reveal the invisible characters. So this is something that he is going for himself as well. Looks like this is going to be a pressure play, by the way, from Adelbart as well. So there's going to be damage coming across the board as well. And this might be a response now from crowding.coder killing this anti-Quarian, who has only 60% devlo resistance right now.
Really unfortunate that she's had to use both of her take covers. Well, turn 14. Oh, that is a fantastic resist.
Indeed.
That is really, really what you need to see here. Thankfully for Adelbart, he's got one more turn, and that really is all he needs. Look at these heart attacks come out.
Agreed. We have seen, however, this anti-Quarian soak up a lot of those potential death blows. She came out still alive out of all those, but still this doesn't look too hot, honestly. Like, every single attack right now might be lethal.
Oh, and that shield breaker.
Yeah.
Resisting healing again. Maybe he can finally get a kill here. Adelbart, you going to pass it? What are you going to do, my darling?
Oh, he's going to go for a Pierce, obviously. Doesn't get us again, though.
Come on!
I feel like Adelbart could have stacked a single rejuvenating vapor stack
really
a few turns ago.
Just one.
Yeah, and this would have just kept him alive and afloat. And right now, every single turn is a huge, huge risk. He might take a kill right now on this shield breaker, which will probably tip the scales in his favor. But it's just a big if, because this is a lot of accuracy required. He gets the deathblow chance, but he doesn't quite get the deathblow itself. And this is, however, this is probably a dead Vestal. Look at this. I don't see the HP digit. This might be 2, might be 3. This is 2. This is a probably dead Vestal because the stick of HP damage will take her to 0 HP, will stress her a bit more, and she just flops over and dies. So
the interesting thing about this especially is if you take her, she gets ticked down with that bite and she goes, you know, why did I leave my nunnery? I just want to look at Paul all the time. Boy, oh boy, she's going to kill herself. She's going to kill herself.
20%. Look at this anti-Quarian resisting a death blow after a death blow after a death blow. It's absolutely insane. And this might just be that. This lucky anti-Quarian might be what brings Adelbart over to the second qualification match.
Oh, you hate to see this for Coda, Mike. This is so painful.
20% death blow resist. rally to the flame. This is such a passive. He has to be playing passively, obviously, but this anti-Corin should not have been around. She should have died long time ago. This is a pass as well. This really bad spot for crowding.coder right now.
I cannot wait for our guy to look through the statistical likelihood of that to happen. But, thankfully an axe out there. Very overworked out for Adelbart. Hopefully, this will give crowding.coder that little bit of leverage he needs to push the tempo, take it home. I think you don't heal here, you just you try and take the antiquarian down.
Yeah, you have to. This is a kill absolutely going to be guaranteed kill, and it is. And right now, this Vessel can try to stun the MAA. And with the amount of stuns that crowding.coder indeed has in this matchup, he might be able to still control this to the end. That's really the question.
Lord for that unfortunate affliction type the man Arms has there. Decreasing his stun resistance by 15.
Well, that's such a close game, though. That's such a close game. Look at this. He's gonna be also healing this right now, and
it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
No, those dots battery ticking. You have to consider that. Look at this. He stresses himself. This is a wrong 10 older crowding.coder. Should have tried to stun first and heal second. This means
doesn't land. If this doesn't land,
it does. It does. However,
45% there.
You cannot be making those mistakes if you're crowding.coder. Those 10 older mistakes are going to cost you the entire match right now, and your tournament life.
Tournament.
Indeed, if he makes a single 10 older mistake at this point, he might just squander all his hopes for moving forward. This is a Dazing Light coming through again. Does it stun? Doesn't look like it. No, it was resisted. And this is a dead Vestal! That mistake! That final mistake, that final 10 order mistake by crowding.coder is probably what decides this game in the end.
Tournament life, and you play them so quickly. You make such simple turn order misplays, and I think you pay the ultimate price for it here. Crowding.coder, I think, being taken out in a 0.
Wait for it.
2 knees.
No, this is dead MAA! He takes it!
Oh my lord!
By the skin on his teeth. This is game over. Crowding.coder takes us to game number 3.
What's going on?
Ending.
I know Red Hook are watching right now. I know they're fiddling with the RNG meters. Jesus Christ, Mike. Can we get a single match that is not just skin of the teeth, edge of our seats?
I don't know. But I really want more games like this one, though. I really do. So, what a crazy, absolutely crazy 10 of events here. And I'm so surprised, but indeed, crowding.coder takes this game, and this means he can no longer use the composition called Unusual Suspects. He's down to the Hara and I Got Gun. And that's going to be an exciting game number 3.
And Mike, we are in game 3. This is what we wanted the whole time. That was a snake of a game. Back and forth, curling, shoots and ladders, up and down. But these guys have really put on, if nothing else, one hell of a show. One hell of a show tonight. I think this is really a great time. Everyone, follow Mike, subscribe to Mike. Remember, there's a little button down there, join. $2.99. You can join an elite club of absolutely old ass boys. The Killers, Mikefield's team.
Oh, thank you, sis, for advertising, guys. I'm just gonna take a second then to show you all the streamers once again. We have quite a few people who do either YouTube content or Twitch content on the Butcher Circus and on Darkest Dungeon. So have a look at this. You can subscribe and follow all those people on the list. I'm going to be copy-pasting those links to their channels on the chat right now, so you can have a look, pick and choose. Join those guys, they're all awesome, amazing streamers. Some of them actually closely tied to my stream as well, so they come, they watch, they discuss. They're amazing people. Let's go to game number 3.
Here we go, Mike, this game 3. I am already hyper. Boy, oh boy, I'm going to need to get some Xanax or maybe a main line of heroin to calm me down after this one. Lord.
That's absolutely insane.
Oh, you love this occultist from Coder again, pulling it out here. Fantastic.
Yeah, so he lost with this composition in game number 1, I believe, right? That's how it went. Yeah, that's really that. Wait, does Adelbart... yeah, I think so. Those are the 2 compositions that lost, aren't those?
Absolutely, we are seeing a matchup of the losers here. Interestingly, Houndmaster in 2, putting down a really early stunt on that abomination here. The Abomination, if he can be locked down the whole game by a mixture of that